What's up, tribe? How you guys doing? Go ahead and hit that subscribe button, and I hope you like this video. This is going to be your review for the Real Housewives of Atlanta season. Oh shoot, what are we on? Season 14, season 12, episode 2. So we start this episode off. Listen. Sonya done told us that she didn't just move her family down and her parents down, but they got 9 people living in her house. It's her mama, her daddy, her husband, her child, her sister's husband, and their 2 kids. It's season 14, episode 2. Y'all look. There is such thing as too close for comfort, and there is such thing as, we too close, it's too much, it's too soon. And we saw an example of that here. Now, she said she moved everybody down to Atlanta because her mama is her manager, her sister is her hairdresser, and she want everybody to be together. My thing is, you ain't have to move them in the same house. You could have done like Candy. Find some property that got a guest house and put them in the guest house, child. You can, because that is just too many people in my house. I know y'all been together a long time, so it's not like y'all are newlyweds, but baby, that's a lot. And they was in there arguing over the beef patty. She said that she don't know where all the beef patties went, and the mama was cooking the beef patty, and she asked her mama because she had one of her beef patties, and the mama got mad. She was like, don't be asking me about no beef patties, it's too early in the morning for that. You want y'all in here eat up all the beef patties, and then you want to know we can have some beef patties. And she was like, well, mama, you got a beef patty. She said, this for your father. They were like, okay, dang, all right. So then she asked, Sonya gonna ask her sister, how are you adjusting, to being in Atlanta? And she was like, well, it is an adjustment. I'm used to having my own space. And her mama was like, you ain't the only one. You ain't the only one that's used to having their own space. And she was like, she asked me. I was just answering for me. I wasn't saying you didn't. I was just saying I did. So mama, I don't know what happened before they started filming, but mama either got up on the wrong side of the bed or she was just having a moment, okay? Because mama was not here for none of their shenanigans that day. And they was like, she said, well, next time I go to Jamaica, I just won't bring nobody nothing. They were like, all right. Like, because if it's going to be all this, baby, that's cool, okay? That's cool. So then we see, Kenya go over to Chateau, is it Chateau, whatever, child, whatever. It is finally done. And listen, let me say this. It's gorgeous. I'm not even going to front. I ain't even going to hold you. It's gorgeous. It's a beautiful house. I mean, it took you 10 years, and Lord knows how many contractors, but baby, you did it. Everybody said it couldn't be done, but you did it. And I'm going to give you credit for that. Even Kenya, because she took Kenya in that basement. Remember that basement wasn't done, baby? She took Kenya in that basement. Baby, the basement is like a whole club. It's a mini club in that basement. And it's gorgeous. It really is a nice home. And Kenya, who always got something shady to say, even Kenya was like, I can't, it's nice. Like, I ain't even got nothing for you. It's nice. So they had a good conversation, and it looks like they're at least starting the season off on a good foot. Lord knows where we're going to end up, but they starting the season off in a good space, right? And so they were talking about the event with Marlo's situation, whatever. And she was, Kenya was like, I don't even know why was Marlo coming for me? Like, everybody had something to say. I don't even understand why she was aiming all of that in my direction. But she said, I don't know. Me and Marlo just can't seem to get it right. And she was like, I got love for Marlo. And Sheree was like, well, she said she got love for you too. I don't know what was going on with y'all. So then they called Sonya, and Sonya, puts her little 2 cents in on the whole situation. Because remember, her and Sheree were the bone carriers last week. So she put her little 2 cents in the situation. And then Kenya gives Sheree a little tea. And come to find out that assistant that we saw last week that was doing a little too much, that worked for Drew, well, come to find out he used to work for Sheree. And he has been basically carrying his own bones, telling Drew all of Sheree's business, talking about that Sheree don't pay him, and he owe her money. And Sheree was like, I don't even use him like that. Like, he ain't one of my day ones. Like, he ain't nobody I go to on no regular basis. I don't even know where all this is coming from. Like, he doing a lot. And, Kenya was like, well, girl, you need to talk to Drew about that. She was like, oh, listen, the way Sheree said it, let me know. I said, okay, because see, Drew, Drew, you couldn't handle Kenya. I know you don't want Sheree, okay? You couldn't handle Kenya last year. You do not want Sheree on your ass. Because Sheree was like, oh, I will. I said, ooh. Ooh. Houston, we about to have a big old problem. Okay. So speaking of Drew, honey, we going over to Drew and Ralph, and they having dinner, child. The chef is cooking it for them, and they get to talking about this assistant situation again. And let me tell you what I'm not getting ready to do. I'm not doing this all season with y'all. We are not dragging out this assistant situation like we did last season with him disappearing and going to spending a week in Tampa with his other family. Okay, we're not doing that this season. All right. He was disrespectful. He don't understand what the problem is. He told her point blank, I fired her. And she was like, well, she was still talking. You know, well, do you still talk to her? He was like, yeah. He was like, I said I fired her. I didn't say I don't talk to her anymore. Well, then, Ralph, you missing the whole point, sir. And then he tried to gaslight Drew into feeling like she was insecure and it was about, you know, and why she got a problem with women. And I'm like, no, she don't have a problem with all the women around you. She has a problem with that woman because that woman was disrespectful and you didn't check her. And that's the problem. It's not about her being insecure about all women in Atlanta. It's about that woman, and it's a very specific reason. Don't play games, Drew. Ralph. So then he gonna say, well, I asked everybody and nobody else has a problem. Whoa, player. Don't bring me, you know, you did your little straw poll down to the office asking everybody their opinion. Don't bring it back to me as if my opinion as your wife and my feelings are not valid. I don't give a damn if 5,000 other women don't have a problem with the fact that this woman offered to give you a damn massage. I am your wife and I have a problem with it. And that's really the only person you should be concerned with. Anyway. So, you know, dinner didn't end well because he couldn't get her to shut up. He couldn't sweet talk his way around it. And she couldn't get him to understand why she had a problem with it. Okay? We're going to get back to them too, child. So then we see Marlo. Marlo is getting ready for homecoming for her nephew. He's a 9th grader. And she's getting, you know, doing that. Oh, I'm sorry. Well, yeah, she did that. She took him shopping. But then we have a scene with Candy and Todd. Now, Candy was the executive producer of the first all-black Broadway production, and they, you know, she's excited because they've gotten some great reviews and some critical acclaim and all of that. And then her and Todd get into this conversation about how busy she is and how she needs Todd support when she's gonna be out traveling. And Todd was like, "Why you act like I ain't been here? Like, don't do that. Don't act like you don't have my support." And she was like, "Well, you be taking 4 or 5 vacations a year." She was like, "Where you getting ready to go next week?" He was like, "Miami." She was like, "For what?" He was like, "To hang out." Like, so then we find out that Todd has a condo in New Jersey. Now, the way Todd got the condo in New Jersey was he had a former girlfriend. They bought the condo together. They broke up. She was supposed to put the condo in her name. She didn't do that. And I feel like either she was going to lose the condo, maybe she couldn't afford to pay it anymore, or she was choosing not to pay it anymore, and he basically had to buy her out. And so now they have a condo in New Jersey. And he was talking about, you know, that he needs to furnish it and he needs to kind of do it up. And he said it's a really nice condo and it's in New Jersey. It's right across the bridge. And like, basically, when we go to New York, we could stay there. And Candy was like, "No, you have a condo. My name ain't on that condo." He was like, "My name ain't on this house. That don't mean I don't live here. That don't mean I'm not welcome." And she was like, "Well, I don't have a key." He was like, "I'll get you a key." Like, it's not he said it's not even any furniture in the house. Like, it's not even any furniture there. You talk about, like, it's not a big deal. So then she was like, "Well, I don't know how, you know, you was living there with another woman. I don't know how I would feel about that." And Todd was like, "Okay, well, when you bought this house, you had other men up in this house doing what you was doing. Like, it is what it is. Like that was 20 years ago. You know, that was a long time ago that I lived with that woman in that place. Like, it's not even that deep." Candy, on this one, I'm gonna have to be with Todd on this one. I think you're doing a lot on this one. I think you doing a little much. But anyway, then they get to talking about the pool. They done redecorated the pool. They done redone the pool. You know, made it a little more modern, updated everything. But they not finished. And Candy was like, "You know, we have a real big problem with starting projects and just not finishing them." But what I found interesting was Candy said, "I have a problem with starting projects and not finishing them." But then she tried to make it seem like this was Todd's fault that the pool house wasn't done. Then that sounds like it's both of y'all that got a problem. Like, it's like both of y'all got a problem with starting stuff and not finishing, because the pool is done, but all the furniture and stuff is inside of the pool from where I guess they had to redo the floors. And Candy was like, well, the floors are done now. We can move the furniture out and see what we like and see what we want to replace. He was like, okay. Because let's be clear, Todd nor Candy are going to lift and move any of that furniture out of that pool. They're going to have to call whoever they people are that does that kind of stuff for them. And I guess Todd was like, all right, I'll call them. Like, I'll get on the horn with our people, and they're going to come and move the furniture. Like, okay. So, I don't know. Again, I feel like they're trying to build that up to be Candy's storyline, because last week she talked about how they don't be having sex that much anymore. But again, we did this before. We had this storyline before, Candy. I love you, Candy, but I ain't doing this with you another season. Sorry. So then Marlo goes to visit Candy. Candy's doing her Halloween photo shoot and, and all that good stuff. So I found this to be, I was with Candy 100% in this conversation. So Marlo was talking to Candy about, basically the boys are getting older, and she's kind of swimming in no man's land. She really don't know what to do. And she was like, when they first came to live with me, I knew they had been through a lot, and I just spoiled them. I just gave them everything I could because, their mom, I wanted to be that comfort for them because I knew everything they were going through. She said, but now, I feel like I've done too much. And Candy brought up, oh my gosh, I was so here for what Candy said. Candy said, why our kids always got to struggle? She said, I don't think that the only way that you can raise a child that's responsible, that's got good work ethic, that's, going to do things for themselves is to make them struggle. If you have it, she said, the school where those boys go, didn't you tell me that the kids drive to school in Mercedes and they wear this and they have all these things? So why your kids got to stick out? Why your kids got to struggle? For what? Why? It's nothing wrong with spoiling them. She said, you can spoil your kids and still raise them to hustle. And I said, I agree with her 100%. Like, why we always got to why our kids got to be the example? Why they can't enjoy life and live good and bear the fruits of our labor? You know what I'm saying? One doesn't equal the other. Just because you spoil your kids doesn't mean you make them rotten. There's a difference between being spoiled and being spoiled rotten. And I'm here for it, because remember, Candy got some flack, when she bought Riley that Porsche, when she got her license. And Candy was like, my money, my child. Why are my glasses crooked? I can't get them. Anyway. So then Marlo said, well, Candy, you've done so much for me and this, and this, but, I really need you to do more. She said, well, I mean, you never invite the boys over your house for movie night. You never invite us to do stuff with y'all and the kids. Candy was like, Marlo, you have to be the kind of friend you want to have. So, like, you don't invite me over your house. You don't invite me. She said, me and Marlo used to know each other because she dated we knew each other before the show because she used to date my godbrother. But then when she came on the show, she was really going out of her way to shade me and treat me some kind of way. And so our relationship has been up and down over the years. So, I mean, you coming in here acting like I owe you something. I don't owe you nothing. And again, I'm with Candy on that. Like, so because I have kids and because you have sort of stumbled into this, I owe you something? No, I don't owe you a friendship. And again, if you say, it was a way that Marlo could have said that it didn't come off, because I would have been offended by the way Marlo said that. But there's a way you could have said that where you could have just been like, hey girl, I need some help. Do you think that you can, have me and the boys do some things with you guys, to just help me out? Maybe Todd can come and talk to the boys. Like, I need your help. There's a way. And then my thing is, your nephews aren't even in the age group as her kids. Because Riley and Todd's daughter are older. And then you have Candy's younger kid. Like, they're not even in the same age group. So what you talking about, Marlo? That was a bit much. Child. Then we get to the Drew situation, child. So, Drew out there working out. She's still trying to do her drop it with Drew situation, child. Ain't nobody thinking about you. But Ralph tells her, listen, I want us to have, a night, date night. I'm gonna take you out. We're gonna have a good date night. We're gonna leave our troubles here, and we're just going to enjoy ourselves. And I'm going to be with Ralph for about this percent in this episode. Drew, I feel like you could have dropped it for one night and just enjoyed the moment. But we're going to get to that in a minute. The guys end up going out. We have Todd, we have Ross, and we have Ralph. And listen, Ralph, let me tell you something. One thing about guys will bend over backwards to justify bad behavior when it comes to their boys. I'm just gonna call a thing. Girls will do it too, but guys will bend over backwards. And the fact that Todd and Ross was both giving you the side eye about this whole assistant situation, and they didn't understand it, and they felt like there was a problem. That should be your clue that this is a problem, sir. Like, I'm sitting here and I'm really trying to figure out why, if you can't get the guys to agree that it's okay, and even then he tongue-tied and he talking all around it. He in his confessional, y'all know them shady editors, they putting question marks up on the screen because the shit don't make sense. At the end of the day, either A, you have an assistant that was totally inappropriate and you don't want to deal with it, you don't want to chastise her, or B, you with the shits. Like, it's no other way around this. Either A, you know, you like her so much that you don't want to question it, or B, you with the shits. But when Todd and Ross was giving you the side eye, anyway, Marlo's nephew go to homecoming. It's nice, it's sweet, it's cool, great. Drew and Ralph go out to dinner. Now, Ralph goes all out. He gets, he has Glam come to the house. He gets the outfit dropped off. Now, I don't know how y'all felt about that outfit, but I thought that outfit was hideous. That outfit looked like she was getting ready to go on a cabaret stage and perform the top of the charts from 1976. I don't know, but that outfit was hideous. I'm sorry. I don't care whose name was on it. I don't care what designer it was. I didn't like it. But neither here nor there. Ralph, he got flowers delivered, and he had Glam show up to do her hair and makeup, and then he had a red carpet and had somebody escort her to where he was. Now, they went to his tailor's place, which we was all confused about that. But then when you go out behind where the tailor is, there was like a little terrace out there, and he had the flowers and the candlelight and dinner and all that good stuff. So everything was great. And Ralph started off by saying, I just wanted us to have a night where we could just enjoy each other's company, and we can leave the heavy conversations, and we can leave the issues for the for our marriage counselor. But for tonight, let's just have a good moment. And Drew says, so, I can't talk about what's on my mind. And I feel like, honestly, Drew, even though I think Ralph be on that bullshit, and I do think Ralph be gaslighting the hell out of you, in that moment, you could have just had a good night. Y'all could have talked about anything. You could have talked about the weather. You could have talked about football. You could have talked about music. You could have talked about... The two things y'all shouldn't have talked about was the kids and his assistant. Y'all could have talked about anything else for 2 hours, Drew. For 2 hours. But neither here nor there, it turned into an argument. Ralph got irritated and Ralph got mad, and he was like, the one thing I did hear though, Drew, that gave me some pause, made me a little nervous, was when you said that you're afraid to express yourself. That you're afraid to talk because you're always walking around on eggshells. You should never feel like you can't talk to your husband. He's supposed to be your best friend. If you can't talk to anybody else, you're supposed to be able to talk to your man. And that is concerning, that you feel like you can't have a conversation with your husband. That's a little concerning. Anyway, y'all let me know what y'all think. I'll talk to y'all later. Peace. Oh, that was the episode. I'm sorry. Did I say that? That was the episode, child. Ralph got mad and was like, he can't do nothing for her, and he's sick of doing stuff for her and not being appreciated. And that was the episode. She was crying. He walked off. All right, talk to y'all later. Peace.